All right, boys and girls, I'm going to ask you 5 mental math questions. So when I ask you the questions, you know the answer, raise your hand. 1/2 of 10 times 3. 1/2 of 10 times 3. Alexia.
15.
Good, go get a Skittle. 1/2 of 24 minus 3. 1/2 of 24 minus 3.
9.
Good, awesome, go get a Skittle. How many nickels are there in $1.40? Brooke. $1.40. How many nickels are there? Mark?
28.
Good, 28. Come get a Skittle. 1/2 of 16 times 3. 1/2 of 16 times 3, Mariska? Alexia? Good, go get a Skittle. 1/2 of 6 times 9. 1/2 of 6 times 9. Jose?
27.
Awesome. Go get a Skittle. All right, so today what we're going to be doing, we're going to be learning about area of rectilinear figures. But what I want you to do is everyone has a sticky note. I'm going to play a little video clip, and what I want you to do on your sticky note is write down the topic, our essential question, what we're learning about today. I want you to write at least 2 vocabulary words, and then if you catch it, I want you to write down what the formula is. So I wanted a lot of things on there. Does anyone remember what I wanted on the sticky note? One thing. What did I want on that sticky note? Jakarian.
What's the formula?
He actually wants that bonus. He wants to know what the formula is. So if you hear what the formula is, write it down on your sticky note. What else? The definition. So vocabulary words with definitions. Do you have to write the definitions?
No.
No, just the words, okay? And we'll get to the definitions today. What else? The topic, our essential question. So your topic, at least 2. Could I write more if I wanted?
Yeah.
At least 2 vocab words and the formula if you hear it, okay? So I don't think we need the lights off for the video. Do you normally do that?
All right, boys and girls, do you know what time it is? It's time for the Math Badger Blitz. Do you know what we're going to be learning about? Can you guess it from our anchor chart? You got it. Today we're going to be learning about area. Ooh, pay attention to this visual. Right around the edge, going around the outside, we have perimeter. Going around the outside, perimeter. And right on the inside, covering it, area. So that's something really good to pay attention to. We're going to be learning about area. What is area, you ask? Great question. I love your math enthusiasm. So let's look at our 4th grade reference sheet. Zoom in here. Down here at the bottom, we have a formula. What is a formula? Good question again. A formula is like a sentence. It tells you what you're going to be doing with your math. So, I don't know what this means, but I do know that you told me I'm learning about area. So what do you think the A represents? Area, you're right. And I know that equal means the same as or equal to. So area is equal to L and W. What do you think the L and W might represent? I heard someone say it. Length and width. Excellent. Length and width. So when we're talking about area, we're going to be talking about the length and the width. Length and width also have synonyms. Okay? In reading, we learn about synonyms. They're words that mean the same thing. So what else can mean the same as length and width? Dealing with area, you ask? You got it. I heard it. Space and height. Awesome. You're going to do great in today's lesson. I just know it. But when I think of area, there's something else that goes along with it. Sometimes I think of perimeter. Perimeter. You're not going to learn about it today, but you do need to know the difference between perimeter and area because they go together. Just looking at this, perimeter goes around, and then area is the cover. All right, you have a great grasp on this already, so I can't wait to get started. I know you're going to do awesome in today's lesson. All right, so when I was talking about a formula, it said A equals B times H or LW. It said LW. You need to know that when an L and a W are next to each other, they want you to automatically assume, just because you're 9 and 10 years old, you should know everything, length times width. even though the letters are smushed together and they don't have that X in between to show you multiply, the letters right next to each other implies I need to multiply these. So you're going to have to just remember that A equals LW is length times width, or space times height. Okay? I can't wait to get started. We're going to have an awesome lesson today.
Okay, so I saw a lot of people writing on their sticky notes, and everyone got the same, every component that I wanted. So I want you with your pair. I want A's to tell B's the topic. What are we learning about today? What's the essential question, the topic that we're going to be covering? Okay? B's, raise your hand and tell me what they told you the topic for today was. Brooke, tell me what your pair told you. Area, thumbs up if you agree. That's our essential question for today. Good, I like it. Now I want B's to tell A's 2 vocabulary words that we're going to go over. 2 different vocabulary words that we're going to cover. Good, and I see people adding to their sticky notes if they didn't get something. Is that okay that they're adding? Sure. As long as you have what you need on there. Good, now A's, raise your hand and tell me some of those vocab words they said, hey, that are going to go over with it. Zachary, what did you say? Good, length and width. And if you caught the synonyms of those, Alexia, did you? Equals, good, you need to know that. And does anyone know anything else? Length and width, what were the synonyms that go along with that? Base and height. Okay, that's all you need to know. Did anyone catch the formula, the bonus I said? I put up their 4th grade reference sheet and I said, there's the formula. Okay, but I want you to tell me, you told me one already, so let me get someone else involved here. You look like you know, are you all right? You have it? What is it? He said A equals LW. And because those letters are right next to each other, what does that imply? Multiply. Good. I like that they rhyme. It implies multiply length times width. I like it. Okay, so put those sticky notes to the right side of your desk right now, because if you get confused, lonely, or scared of what we're covering, you know they're right over there. Okay, so I want everyone to take their hands, and you're going to be going around your desk. So I'm going to do this with you. Can I borrow your desk? Okay, so I want everyone to take their hands, and you're going to go around the outside of your desk. Rub the outside of your desk and say it with me. Perimeter. Say it with me. Perimeter. You do it. Okay, so everyone do that one more time. Perimeter. Good. Now take your hands, go flat. Okay, I want you to rub the top of your desk, and I want you to say area. Okay, so perfect. Do that again. Area. So go around the outside. What do we say? Perimeter, and then if we're holding and rubbing the top of it, we're talking about area, okay? And that's a concrete example right in front of you. So what I want you to do with your pair is I want you to say, okay, perimeter goes around, area covers. I want you to look around your classroom that's designed so nice, and I want you to find an example of perimeter and area in this classroom. Okay, so you and your pair talk about it. When you're ready to share, raise your hand. All right, and I see a lot of people talking about good stuff, so let's share them out. Jakarian in your group. Okay, so they're saying the firebox, so going around would be the silver, and then what would be the area? The top of it, the silver as well, with the glass panel in there would cover some of the area. Alma, what did you and Jada discuss? The cabinets. All right, back there, the blue ones, or this one over here? Okay, the blue one. So what would be the perimeter? The outside, and what's the area? What color? Blue. Perfect. Okay. Any other examples? Not ones that we said already. What about you guys? Yes, Mariska. Okay, a math book. Good. What about it? Any book, really? You're talking about the outside as well? Perimeter, and then the area has, it looks like, ships on it. Okay, it looks like it has a ship. A great example as well is if you look at your bulletin board. Okay, she has different borders that show what? Perimeter? And then what's the area? The blue, orange, green, yellow. Those are all area, okay? Looking at the floor, what's covering the area? Carpet. In the back, what's covering the area? Tile, okay? Same thing with the ceiling. There's examples of perimeter and area there. Now I want you to take it outside school. I want you to think of your bedroom, because we haven't been there yet. The person next to you, your pair, probably hasn't either. Think of a specific example in your bedroom of perimeter and area. Okay, so think of something in your bedroom. Alexia, what about your bedroom? Okay, the bed itself. The bed is actually three-dimensional, so it has length, width, and height. So it pops out a little bit, but she might be talking about just the top. So what around your top of your bed? Okay, she has pink going around the outside. Nice, I like it already. And then the spread, or the comforter that you put on top is what color? Black. Ooh, someone else in another class had that same. I like it. Bailey, what about your room? Okay, the television. Even if we look at this screen, it's not a real TV, but we have one over there. But it's similar to it. So what is the perimeter on your TV? What color? Gray. It's gray, like a silvery chrome. And then what color is the area, the part we watch on the monitor? It's black. But when you turn it on, it's whatever show you're watching, okay? So give me one more example. Zachary, give me your example, and then we're going to move on. Your dresser. Dressers, again, are three-dimensional because they pop out. But are you talking about the top? Okay, so tell me about it.
The perimeter is brown.
Brown going around the top of it. And then the stuff where he has is different things to get ready to look good in the day. What's up there? What color? Brown again. Okay, so he has an outer edge and then the inside brown as well. What we're going to learn about today is area of rectilinear figures. That's a long word. Say it with me. Rectilinear. How many syllables is that? Rectilinear. That's a long word. 5 syllables, I heard you say. It really means rectangles made up of rectangles or squares. So I'm going to show you something. This is a floor plan of a house. So if you ever get into architecture or design, or you're even doing landscaping and you have to put sod down in yards and things like that, or if you want to be a house designer, you would look at something like this. This is a floor plan of a house. These are where doors would be, so they do this because that's how they would swing open. So they're not really there yet, but they show you. If you look at the main shapes you see in a house, a floor plan, what shapes do you see? What is rectangles and squares? Exactly. Okay, so next time we're going to talk about it, you're going to say, hey, our house is mostly made up of rectangles and squares. Now, you're too smart for this. Miss Beeler tells me all the time my class is the best in 4th grade, Miss Badger. I have to agree. Okay, so when I put this up here, and I say, all right, length and width. Let's say I said your length was 8 feet and your width was 5 feet. And I said, what's the area? I want a quiet shout out. If I know it's base or length times width, quiet shout out, what's the area of this figure?
40.
Would we want to spend 40 minutes going over this? No, that'd be like Snorville because you already mastered that in 1 minute, okay? Not even 10 seconds. So we're not going to cover that. What we are going to cover is rectangles composed of rectangles. So it's going to be rectangles made up of other rectangles. And that's why we have cool markers. We're going to be measuring, doing some great stuff with that. Do you have a paper passer outer? Alma, can you pass those out for me? All right. While she's doing that, I'm going to start writing on mine my title. First, I'm an avid student. I make sure I put my name on it. Badger. Today's date, which is 1/30/17. And then it says title. What did we say we were learning about today? Area, good. And of rectilinear figures. I'm not going to really remember what that means in a few weeks, right? I'm going to pull this out of my binder and be like, what did I learn about this? I'm going to write area of rectangles. And above it, I'm going to write composed rectangles. Well, in science, I learned about decompose means to break apart or break down. So what do you think? If decompose means to break apart, compose probably means what? Put together, geniuses. Okay, so area of composed rectangles. That's a little easier for me to remember. Some people, adults, don't even know what rectilinear figures are. All right, now, this is my favorite for math. It's very important, and I know Miss Beeler loves organization, as do I. So when I do this, and I'm thinking in my head, oh, all right, I have to break it down into steps. You do this a lot in reading when you're writing, and you say first, next, last, after that, finally. What are those when you do that? Put things in order. What's that called in reading? Sequence. Okay, and we're going to do the same exact thing in math, because if I could walk through each step with you, if Jada ever gets confused, she's not going to be like, I don't understand a thing you said, right? She's going to say, I could do step 1, I could do step 2, but I get really confused at step 3. And that's specific. So when Miss Beeler and I work with her, we could say, okay, let's work on step 3. It's just one part. So it's important, not just in reading, but in math, to break it down into small steps, because you could probably do a lot, and then you get confused around the 3rd or 4th step. It happens. It's only natural in our life. All right. So step 1. I have it over here. I'm going to circle it. If you don't have it labeled, write 1, circle it so you know we're focusing on that. And where's my marker bin? I'm going to need 2 markers. Can I borrow yours for a second? Oh, it's right over here. You can have yours back. All right. So I'm going to use yellow and blue. And step 1 tells me what I need to do on the bottom here. Bailey, can you read what it says for the steps, and then I'm going to actually do it on the visual if you're a visual learner up here. Good. I'm going to divide the figure into 2 or more squares or rectangles. Someone actually filled it in, but it's blank. Into blank or more squares or rectangles. The answer in there is 2 or more. So, quick side note. You can break a figure into a lot of parts. I could break it into 4 if I wanted to. But why would I want to choose 2? Think in your head, why would I want to do the least amount of squares and rectangles over dividing it into 5? Why do you think I'd want to do 2? Yes?
Because you can do each half and then add them.
Yeah. I can do one part, do another part, and then add them together. If I did 3, I'd have to do it how many times? 3 times. If I did 4, how many would I have to do? 4. So really, it's kind of lazy, but not really. If I was to my principal, I'd say I'm very efficient with my time, right? Because it's valuable. So I don't want to find the area all over the place. I want to do the least amount of times possible. So we're going to divide our figure into 2 or more. And there's 2 different ways to do this. And I'm going to ask someone to come up because this is where we can make some mistakes here. And I like to go over where the possibility of mistakes are before they happen. This looks similar to the figure you see, right, in step 1. I want someone to come up and divide this shape into square or rectangle. Can someone come up and say this would be divided into squares and rectangles? I'm going to take Jakarian, come up, and you're going to do one. And then someone else come do the... Alana, you want to come do the second one? Now, this is so someone makes a mistake. Now, if they don't make a mistake, I drew a 3rd one. If they don't make a mistake, I'm going to have to make one. And it's okay to make mistakes. Okay, so you're going to draw it right on there. Okay? I'm hoping you make a mistake because this happens. And it's not that they don't know what they're doing. It's not that they don't know what they're doing. It's their math brain is thinking of another math skill. Okay? Did he divide it into rectangles?
Yes.
Yeah? So he didn't make the mistake. Awesome. Okay. If they don't make the mistake, I'm going to have to do it. Okay, she's going to do it on this one. And there's another way. Okay, she did it the same exact way, right? 2 rectangles. Is that okay? Okay, and now that's perfect. No one wanted to make a mistake. Now, I wanted to do it a different way. Could I have done it this way?
Yes.
Do I still have squares or rectangles?
Yes.
But because your class is so smart, no one made a mistake. But in another class, and I'm not going to tell you who, they did this when I said divide it. They did that. Okay? Did they divide the shape?
No.
They divided it because they split it, right? But they're not equal, and they're not squares or rectangles. A lot of times when it's the same on each side, they might do the line of symmetry. They're not asking for you to break it in half. They're asking for you to divide it into squares and rectangles. So no one made a mistake. Your class is above the average bear here. Okay, so let's do step 1 on our visual. If we divide it, let's just do it this way. Okay, did we do step 1? Anyone confused why we divided it? Nope, because we need squares and rectangles to apply our formula. So you're going to do it on the visual as well. Okay, and now we have number 2. That's all right. Now we have number 2. That just is timing for transition sometimes. Number 2, who can read on the bottom? What we need to do for step 2. Okay, we have people raising their hand. Alma's going to read it, and you're going to get the next one, Jamari, because you're going to raise your hand. Go ahead, Alma. Blank. Oh, good. And it says measure the blank and blank of rectangle 1, but I heard someone already knowing what we're probably going to apply because they're smarty-arty. What did you say? length and
Width.
width. I love it. Okay, perfect. Write her in there. So now, super awesome. Okay, so write in length and width of rectangle 1. Now, either of them can be rectangle 1, but let's just make one of these first. So I'm going to put my division line in there again. And now I want you to take one of your colored markers, and we're going to do the bigger one first. And I'm going to shade it in because we're doing area, because I want to know I want to focus on this one rectangle. Okay, now I don't have to measure it, but we're going to do that when we get to the worksheet portion. It already gave me my unit of what it's measured in. What is my length?
8.
Well, I'm pointing down at I always do length and width for some reason, or base and height. I always go bottom first, base, the bottom. So what is my bottom? 4. 8 would have been fine too. But now this is where someone gets confused. Now you're smarter than the average bear, so I want you to look. Some kid said 8 was the length, and one kid said 6 was my length. Now, I want you to think about that before you raise your hand and explain to me. Why are one of those students incorrect? Someone said the length should be 6, but should it be 8? Which one should it be? Okay, think about it. Which one should it be and why? Yes, which one?
4.
She said 4. Good, we got the 4 on the bottom, and then which one should be the other one? Jose? 8. Why is 8 correct and 6 is wrong?
Because you have to measure the whole thing.
The whole side, and 6 only goes to here. You're missing this little 2. Good. So now, step 3, we're already there. Once you break it down, is anyone confused what we did here? We got 4 and 8. So step 3 says, calculate the area for figure 1 using the formula. What's our formula? LW, length, width. Length times width. So do I know my length of this one? You told me it was 4, and Jose said the width was 8. Is he right? Sure. And I'm just going to write, what is 4 times 8? 32, and right now I'm going to write square units, because I didn't give it units on the, because it's always going to be different depending what they ask you. That's not so bad. Okay? But a lot of times, look at this. Calculate the area for figure 1 using the formula. The area equals length times width. Sometimes that gets tiring, right? Are you always going to say it this perfect?
No.
No. But there's a fun way. My favorites. I like doing fun stuff so you remember stuff. All right. So all we have to remember is that it's base and height. We're going to sing a song. You got to get your arm ready. I'm going to sing it, then you're going to repeat it. It's going to be good, Jose. All right. All about that base. About that base. Times that height. Times that height. Ready? Do it with me. All about that base. About that base. Times that height. Times that height. One more time. I didn't hear everybody. It's not embarrassing. All about that base. About that base. Times that height. Times that height. Do it without me. Yes, I love it. And if you didn't want to do that, then you can do length times width. Do it with me. Length times width. By yourself.
Length times width.
All that writing, and basically all you have to remember is base times height or length times width. All right, that's a good way to remember. You'll never forget it. You'll make fun of me forever, but it's worth it, right, Miss Beeler? All right, step 4. Mariska, can you read underneath what step 4 tells me to do?
Measure the length and length of rectangle 2.
Good. Now I'm going to use my inferencing skills that Miss Beeler goes over during ELA, and I'm going to say, what do you think I'm measuring on my figure 2? Quiet shout out.
Base and height.
Good. Base and height, or I'm going to stick to the same length and width. Either one, whatever you fancy. Now I got to remember which is my rectangle too. So I'm going to put that dividing line, and I'm going to shade this one in yellow because I like colors. So I'm going to say, hey, yellow. Now I got to figure out what is my base and what is my height of just this little bit. Is it 6 or is it 10? Is it going to be 10 or 6 for my base? Quiet shout out? Yeah. What happened to the kid that chose 10? Do you understand why a kid would do that sometimes?
Yeah.
Because they see it. They say, okay, length 10, width 2, multiply and get it. Okay, careful because it's only for this one rectangle. It's divided into 2 parts. So 6 and 2. We're already on step 5, which is calculate the area, but we already know the easy version. Length and width, or base and height. What are our two dimensions? You said 6 and 2. Perfect. And when I multiply those, I get 12. Now I'm already on the last step. It says, want to read that for me?
Add both areas together to calculate a total area.
Beautiful. And I'm going to circle this important word because that's all I really care about. Add both areas. So what were my two areas? I had 32 square units and 12 square units. So when I add 32 plus 12, I get 44 square units. Now, someone in another class said, hey, can I put this away? Well, no, we're about to do a worksheet. Why would you not want to tuck this away just yet? You can use it. Thank you, Brooke. So you could use the thing. These aren't just for our sakes that you take notes. It's so you can actually use it. It's a little cheat sheet. All right, Alma's going to pass these out. I'll give you one so you don't forget yourself. Sometimes that happens. Okay, everyone's going to need their ruler. And we're going to need our pencil still. And if I get lost, confused, or something, I'm going to use my cheat sheet. And we're going to do 1 and 2 together. Then you're going to do 3 on your own. And we have a ticket out the door. You're going to love it. It's going to be good stuff. Okay, I like that people are putting their names on it. Jose's already looking at his ruler like, hey, lady, this has 2 sides on my ruler, right? And Ariana's like, don't worry, she'll tell us what side to use. Don't be scared, Jose. All right. Now, everyone look at number 1, and I'm going to use my little math detective skills, and I'm going to be looking at it and say, all right, am I using the centimeter side of my ruler, or am I using the inches side? Now, look at number 1. There's a clue there. What side of the ruler are you going to use? Don't call out. What side are you going to use, and how do you know from number 1? You got to really be with it to catch this.
Centimeters.
Okay, how do you know? Wait a sec. I had someone raise their hand, so I like that you're excited, but hold on.
Because it says square cm.
Oh, it says square cm centimeters, so you know you're using the centimeter side. That's using your inferencing skills, saying, okay, they didn't tell me specifically, but I can figure this out. I can problem solve. Okay, so when we look at this, I forgot already. It's been so long. I've been talking so much. What do I do first? Jamari, what do I do first if I forget?
No, but wait. Divide the figure into 2 or more square rectangles.
Oh, I remember that part. I have to divide this into 2 or more squares or rectangles. Everyone, I'd like us just to do the same. Can I go this way or this way? But I'm going to choose this way first. So I'd like you to take your 2 colors. I'm going to do this one in yellow. Yellow. And I'm not taking long to shade them in. I'm just going quick, and I'm shading them in because I want to remember I'm doing the area. It's a good visual. Now I'm going to walk around. Is anyone confused about how to divide a figure into squares or rectangles? No? Good. Perfect. I like that you're finished already. Okay. Most of you are done with that. The rest of you are just making it darker and prettier, okay? That's not what we're here for, but it's nice that you want to do that. Okay, so now I'm going to need my what? Handy dandy ruler, because what does step 2 say?
Measure the length and width of the rectangle.
Rectangle 1. So for your sake, I'm just going to pretend this is my rectangle 1. I want to do this one first. I put a little line in it. So if I have to do the length, I'm going to go, or the base, I'm going to go down on the bottom. And I got 1, but Jamari got 2. Can you tell me why Miss Badger got that wrong? I like making mistakes and you catch them. Miss Badger made a silly mistake, and I got 1, but Jamari's like, no, Miss Badger, this is 2 centimeters. Why did I get it wrong, Bailey?
Because you didn't.
Bailey?
Because you didn't line the 0 up to the end of that.
Good. I need to, not the end of my ruler. Bailey's saying, Miss Badger, you need to line the 0 up with the end of the figure. That's perfect. Okay, so I need to line this part over here. Now I get how many centimeters? 2. And I see people already measuring the height. So they started with 0 and measured up. And quiet shout out, what did you get? I hear two different answers.
3. 5.
I need you to check.
3.
Okay, 5.
3. 5.
Okay, so let's look. If I'm holding it this way, can I do a little, I hear an answer and I want to tell you something. I want everyone to look. Raise your hand if you heard the answer 3. Go out there. I heard it. Okay, I'm going to show you and then you tell me what happened. What? Just look. What did they do? Jose, what did they do? They did the wrong side. Did they go the whole way up? No, they stopped here. Does that happen sometimes? Yes, and that's why it's important we make these mistakes now because it's our first time doing it. It's our first one, right? That's okay. Those happen. I'd rather us pick it out now than at the end of the year when you're taking a test on your own, right? So this is much better. So I can see why you'd pick 3 because you just wanted to measure one side, but we need the whole thing, all that yellow. So if I'm measuring all that yellow, what do I get? 5 centimeters. Don't leave it naked. Now step 3 is to do what? Calculate the area.
For figure 1 using the formula A equals 1 times.
Good. And what's the easy way of saying that?
5 times height.
Length times width, or all about that base times the height. What's my base?
2.
What's my height?
5.
So if I multiply them, what do I get?
10 centimeters.
And I know we would love to see work in there, so I'm going to write 10 square centimeters. I'm done with 1. Am I finished with the problem? No, I need to look at this next square or rectangle. Measure the base. What do you get when you do that? Quiet shout out when you get it.
2.
2. And when I do this?
1. No, 2.
2. Okay? Now Jamari's like me. And I have 2 and 2. So 2 by 2 means 2 times 2.
4.
And I get 4 square centimeters. I'm not done yet. I still have step 6. What do I do at step 6? Add. Add 10 and 4. And that's going to give me my total area. 14. 14. Okay. I love this. He's really good at math, I can tell. And he likes it. He'd be like me. He's eager. He's saying answers. Okay? This is a higher order thinking skill because I'm like, where did he get that answer? I'm like, someone's talking crazy. That's not true. What did he do with 10 and 4 to get 40 that people really would do? And kids do this because you see it. She said, multiply. I got the areas. Now I'm going to multiply. What did he do, Alexia? He multiplied 10 times 4. Does everyone see what would have happened? 10 times 4. But we really don't need to do that anymore because we already got the area here. We got the area. We multiplied already. Now we need to add. But those are things, it's much better to work out as a class, right? And I like that everyone was we take it as a learning experience. This is good to know. Have we done this before? No. So to make a couple of mistakes now is great. But at the end, you're going to have it now. All right. No one got confused? We're on number 2. I'm starting to remember because we did it already without looking back at my notes. Does anyone remember what step 1 was? Tell your pair what step 1 was without looking at your notes. Try not to look. Do you remember what step 1 was? Wow, your pair must have a hearing problem. Okay? All right. So, raise your hand and share with me what step 1 was. I know you heard what he said. What did he say? I heard it. She's giggling. What? I know what you said. What did he say? Bailey? Good. Divide the figures. Okay, so first, step 1, let's divide it. I'm going to do it this way. There's another way. Someone might have went to do this and would have made 3 rectangles. Miss Badger wouldn't choose to do that because that would mean I'd have to find the area 3 times. Some people would have divided it here, and then 1, 2, 3. But let's do this together. All right, now, color in 1. That's going to be the one we're working with first. I'm going to do this top one first. And I care about the centimeter side of my ruler.
Yes.
And now I want to calculate the area of that top one. And to calculate area, I need my ruler. Step 2 says measure the length and width. All right. I think we're ready for this. So if I use my length and width, what do you get?
6.
What's that long side? 6 what? Centimeters. No naked numbers. And now I have to do the width, the little side thing. Hey, well, that's about my pinky, and I know that's a benchmark measurement, so your pinky's about 1 centimeter. Now, step 3 is to calculate the area of the yellow part, or whatever color yours is. His is red. So if I'm going to calculate the area, I need to do what for step 3? What is step 3? Multiply. Good. So what 2 numbers, Alana, am I going to multiply there? 6. 6 and 1. Excellent. So if I multiply 6 times 1, my identity property of multiplication, quiet shout out everyone, what do I get? 6 square centimeters. And I'm going to do centimeters squared like that. And I'm going to circle her so I know that's my answer. I'm not done yet, because what do I need to do? I need to calculate the area of figure 2. Okay? I'm going to measure my base. Alma, what do I get when I measure my base? 2 centimeters. And when I measure the height there, Jamari, what do you get? 5. Excellent. 5 what? Centimeters. And now, to calculate the area of figure 2, I have to do my base times height, multiply it, and I get 5 times 2 is 10 centimeters squared. And people are already on next step because they're getting it, and I love that. All right, Bailey, what do I have to do next? Add what? Bless you. 10 plus 6, and what do I get? 16 square centimeters. And my units are there. I just circle it so I know that's my answer because it gets messy when you start showing work. Okay, what I'd like you to try is number 3. With your pair. You and your pair work through it. If you get confused, use your graphic organizer to help you walk through the steps. She's already dividing her figure. Okay, I like it. Now, he divided his figure totally different than she divided hers. It's going to be interesting because at the end, their answers should be the same even though you did it differently. It's going to be okay. Good. So they're dividing their figure? Perfect. Just leave it like that. That's great. Okay, they chose to do it the same way so they could work through it together. Good, Mariska. Perfect. They divided it. Now they're shading their 2 different figures, their area. Now someone chose to divide it into 3. Is that going to be okay? Yeah, they're just going to have to do one more area. They're going to have to do that step one more time. I love it. Miss Bueller, they have it down. 3 problems. You're never going to have to revisit this again. Well, you're going to want to revisit it. But they're doing fantastic. Okay, and I'm looking at two different groups, and I see their answers, and they divided their figures differently, but they have the same area. So I love it because they know they're getting it right. It just looks different from one another. Okay? Okay, so Alma, I want you and Jada to tell me what you guys got. Everyone listen to their response. And if you got that same answer, give me a thumbs up. 26 square centimeters. If you got that same answer, thumbs up for them. They divided their figure like this. Those of you with your thumbs up, did you do it that same way? You did it totally different, right? Alexia did it, her group did it this way. But they still got the same answer. Okay, do you see the two different ways you could have divided your figure? That was your first one on your own and it was done differently. But same answer, 26. So now, you get your ticket out the door. This is to show Miss Beeler and myself, hey lady, I know what I am doing. Give me my 100. I have mastered this standard. So you need to complete this. There are steps that walk you through, and it tells you what you need to do to get full credit. Remember at the end it says area equals blank. Does it have the units on here? No, you're going to have to remember to put them on there. Make sure you use the right side of your ruler to get full credit on your ticket out the door. When you go to computer lab, I know it's always fun, but you can log into your Office 365 account, and there's a forms, so you can take an assessment on forms that covers the same standard when you get to computer lab. Okay, you guys were an awesome class. I love teaching new stuff. I'll be back next Monday. Everyone has a ticket out the door. Thanks for recording. Everyone turn around, look at your camera. Wave. Bye.